Hi, my name is Jonas, this is Sublime Media, and on this channel I talk about records and also record-related stuff. Like today, when we are going to go through 2 Atlantic 75 releases. So, if you don't know what Atlantic 75 anniversary is, I won't blame you. I mean, there are so many reissues nowadays and audiophile pressings and stuff like that, so you just vomit on everything. But the Atlantic 75 in a nutshell is that Analogue Productions got the rights, sort of rights, but the privilege to release 75 Atlantic titles now when they are celebrating 75 years. And being Shadcasm and being Analogue Production, they don't do anything half-assed. So what you are getting is some of the absolute best titles from Atlantic in stiff Stoughton jackets, 45 RPM, 2 LP sets, cut by some of the best mastering engineers in the world, pressed by QRP, and I could name drop and talk even more. But what it means really is that for a very hefty price, you get these titles sounding the best that they have ever sounded. Or will you? In my hands I'm holding Dr. Jones in the Right Place and Selling England by the Pound by Genesis. My experience with this series is limited to the John Prine and the Phil Collins Face Value, which were from the first batch that I got. The John Prine I did a shootout of. It sounds amazing. It's such a good release. My God. But I have to say that when Shadcasm released the lists of titles that they were going to re-release, the Genesis titles were the ones for me. And I think many people, because we are not blessed with finding good sounding Genesis, early Genesis records. I think I've gone through 20 different pressings, early pressings or first pressings of all of them, but especially this Selling England by the Pound. And I have never found, even in superb condition, never found a good sounding copy. It's just like the recording is muddy, muffled, and no vinyl record has done it justice. So for me, being a huge Genesis fan, I have never heard the Peter Gabriel stuff sounding really, really good. But in Shadcasm we trust. So when he announced this, we knew that this is going to be something special. It's going to sound the best it has ever sounded. Okay, so I want to start by talking about this. Just a little bit of. I won't talk about Genesis. I won't talk about the record. I won't talk about the songs because you know them. I want to talk about this specific pressing. Now, bear in mind, a near mint copy, first UK press, used, maybe is a €20 record, something like that. You can get it pretty cheaply because they sold a lot of records. I think that my last one that I sold in VG Plus condition, I got like €7 for, something like that. So with this in Europe selling now for €90+, it's a pretty big difference in price. So the big question is it worth it? And my answer is yes and no. Let's start with the no. No, it's not worth it because this is not a 10 sound-wise. It's not even a 9. Maybe it's a 8 when it comes to sound quality. And I don't blame the mastering engineers and QRP or Shadcasm's or Analogue Productions. No, I blame the recording. I think that the recording is what the recording is, and it will never ever sound better than an 8. So with my first UK press that I had, that I've listened to, sounding like a 6 maybe. Yeah, no, it's not worth paying that 90 for this. So what about the yes? Well, it's easily worth the €90 because you will never ever hear Genesis sounding like this again. This is what I have heard, what I have read, what I have experienced, the absolute best way of listening to Selling England by the Pound. And if you are a fan, a big fan like I am, and you adore this music, and you have a stereo setting or setup that allows you to play audiophile pressings, then yes, it's worth the 90, because when you have got this, you won't regret that 90 that you put out. If you miss the train, if you don't get this, and people in 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years talk about this as a definite version, and this costs I don't know how much, then you will cry later, as Chad often says. So yeah, everything from jacket to pressing to records and obviously music is great. The best sounding they could ever been. So let's go over to Dr. John in the Right Place. This is a record I have zero experience of because I'm not the biggest Dr. John fan. But when Chad Kassem announced the Atlantic 75 series and in interviews, he has talked about this Dr. John release as his favorite one. The one that he was most excited about because this is one of his absolute favorite records of all time. So when I heard that, I couldn't sort of not buy this, because if there's any record in the entire series that will sound great and look great, it would be this one, because Chad is really, he has his heart in this. So what's a little bit unique with this is that you get a trifold thing, and except for I think The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, which will be a four-sided fold-out thing. This is one of the trickier ones, I guess, it doesn't cost more than the ordinary gatefold versions, because it's still a 2 LP set, 45 RPM, cut by all the masters engineers, you know that deal. But I'm slowly getting into Dr. John, and I have tried out some different first pressings that I've had. And compared to those, this sounds better than anything else. I mean, this is just like John Prine, but this is a little bit more arranged and more musicians, bigger in sound. This is a dream come true when it comes to the sound quality. It's really, really open, and this is soulful and funky and jazzy, and if I understood it correctly, this is the sound of New Orleans. Yeah. Great one. So there are a few more titles that I'm going to get. I'm gonna get all the Genesis titles. That's just a must for me. For me, it's a must. I am also gonna get all the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young related things, because when it comes to a record like Deja Vu and the first Crosby, Stills and Nash record, and also If I Could Only Remember My Name, I feel like those are some of my favorite records of all time. So I have to see how they sound. Like, I need to hear how they sound compared to my original pressings. But enough of that. Another day. So yeah, that's my just 2 cents and experience of those 2 releases. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have comments, just write them down below and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.